Alright, let's see what I got going on this week. Live stream. Video. What's that? A gig? On Saturday? I have a gig this Saturday. Well, it looks like for the first time in a while, I actually have a gig this weekend. I'm looking forward to playing some live music with some friends. It's a country band, and we're doing it in like a trio acoustic format. Now let me know if you see an issue here with the music personnel. We have an acoustic guitar player, lead singer. We have a lap steel player. And then we have me, the electric guitar player. This is going to have to be a little bit of a different gig for me because I, as the guitar player, am going to need to stay out of the way of both the acoustic guitar player and the lap steel player. If you just think simply about what they as musicians cover, we have strummy chords coming from the acoustic guitar player, and we have very nice luscious pads coming from the lap steel player. So what do I need to do to differentiate myself in terms of a tonal instrument at this gig? Well, the first thing I don't think I'm going to do is roll in with my huge pedal board. This pedal board is programmed for keeping up with a drummer. It's going to get ripping leads. It's going to get humongous rhythm sounds. I could spend some time programming a couple patches on here that would get tones that would gel with the trio format, but I think there's an easier way. Check it out. This is a Pedal Train Nano Plus, and I actually installed a Strymon Zuma on the back. We're going to build out a miniature pedal board for this specific gig. One benefit of the acoustic show format is we're not really trying to duplicate the sound of the record as much. The parts still matter, but if you think about playing an acoustic version of Don't Stop Believin', and you've just got an acoustic guitar, and you've got that soaring lead, might sound a little out of place. There's reasons why a lot of the MTV Unplugged recordings live in such infamy, because they sound so different, but they still are the similar arrangements to the original songs. They sound similar enough, but they're such a different sound compared to the original recordings. So, armed with our mini pedal board, let's find some pedals that are going to get tones that sound good on this show. So a lot of the times when I see miniature pedal boards, I see people reaching for pedals like this. Now, albeit this is not necessarily a miniaturized pedal, this is the SP compressor by Exotic, but they'll find these small format pedals so that they can fit as many pedals as they can on their miniature pedal board. And that's fine if you're going for versatility. I happen to have a very versatile pedal board already that I'm opting to not bring, so we're going to use some nicer pedals and just less of them. Actually, the first pedal I'm going to choose is the Sonic Research Turbo Tuner. This is my favorite tuner of all time. I have two of them. I have a miniaturized version on my large format pedal board, but it's nice to be able to use this as a mute switch. This thing is crazy accurate. It's also pretty cheap compared to other tuners like the Peterson tuners. This is only 130 bucks. It's nice to have that mute option as well, seeing as we're going to opt to not use a volume pedal on this gig. I told you we're going to make some noise. This is the Analog Man King of Tone. I love this pedal a lot. This is one of my favorite overdrive pedals of all time. I actually just recently had it rehoused and then gain modded, so there's the high gain mod here too. This is a good pedal to have on the mini pedal board because it's versatile. 2 gain stages, you can set them at different levels, you can boost them together, so really it's 3 different tones in one. The Strymon Deco. This is a really cool pedal that's emulating a tape machine. We're going to get a lot of use out of it here because we can set one side as a boost and the other side as a short slapback. The slapback is what I'm going to be using to primarily differentiate myself from the lap steel, where the lap steel is going to be nice and clean and fat. This is going to allow me to have that classic slightly dirty slap tone that'll make me sound different. And then finally, the Strymon El Capistan. This is going to give me a little bit of space in the form of a longer delay, a little bit more subtle, It's also going to, again, have that classic sound because this is based around a tape delay rather than a digital delay. And this also has a secret little spring reverb built into it in the secondary functions. So I'm going to set that as something and then just forget it. Now, I'm actually not going to be using a reverb pedal for this gig because I've got a spring reverb built into the amp that I'm going to be using. But normally I would opt for having a Strymon Flint on this board too, because this represents a lot of value in just some great reverb sounds. Some of my favorite tremolo sounds on this too. But I actually don't think this is going to get used much on this gig, so we're just going to leave it at home. All right, so we are working with our Pedal Train Nano here. As I mentioned, I installed the Strymon Zuma already. I actually also put on these feet here to protect it from the ground when it's laying. The profile just kind of exactly lines up when this thing is on the ground. So that's a good thing if you're planning on using this ultra-powered power supply with the Pedal Train Nano Plus. The Velcro is this industrial grade Velcro. You can kind of see in the hook pattern how substantial it is. It's got a pretty good scratch to it. And then on the loops, there are quite a bit of loops. This is practically carpet. I swear by this stuff and dual lock for my pedal boards because this is something that will change and come and go from time to time. I like the impermanence of Velcro, and this I can trust to stay on when I want it to stay on. So for a few of these, because these are loose pedals that I'm working with, I already have a bit of Velcro installed. The things that we need to put Velcro on, like this Strymon Deco, the El Capistan is looking good already. We got to put some on the tuner. So we are just going to, some people might say install the Velcro around the product stickers if you want to have resale value for your pedals. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't get the product sticker on my pedals, but you know, I always kind of keep that in mind. All right, so we're good to go here. And then we have this guy. I have a bit of gaffer's tape on the back of this because I actually like to carry that around to gigs sometimes. I've actually put this on dirt before when I've played like outdoor gigs, and I don't want that to get into here. So I take that off afterwards. So we're all Velcroed up. We have a general order. We're going to put these in. This delay is going to go last. And then we have the deco. The beautiful thing about the Strymons is how cleanly they fit together and how easily that cable is going to run right there. We have the King of Tone here. If this was smashed right up against here, I probably wouldn't be pushing that too much. Now we know what we're working with, and we can put this in an area where we feel comfortable. So there is our pedal layout. So from here, we're just going to be using patch cables to connect. These are the Mogami cables with the pancake plugs. I like these. These were wiring up an older board of mine. That is just sticking out just the slightest amount. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lift both of these. And I'm going to move them down just a bit. There we go. And if you see how that is edged up against there, we actually have a straight line across there. I know in the camera it slightly looks like it's hanging over. That angle should help a little bit more, but it's actually a straight line here. If we were to take a straight edge, that would be an edge, a perfect edge, which we don't want any hanging over because hangovers can get kicked. We also need to be aware of the power. So we're actually going to probably need to lift this one up when we go to power these pedals. All right, so in keeping in mind with the power, we have a Strymon Zuma here. The benefit of the Strymon Zuma is that we have basically near all the power that we're ever going to need. These have 500 mA outputs. They're at 9 volts, which should power all of our pedals. We don't have any weird power requirements here. But the milliamp thing is always a good thing to keep in mind when you're building a pedal board. You don't want to go over your milliamp allotment. That is, you have kind of a power budget that you can use. And if you're going to chain multiple pedals, especially digital pedals like Strymon pedals, you're going to run out of those milliamps pretty quickly. Thankfully, we have a 4-pedal pedal board with a power supply that will power 5 pedals. The Analog Man King of Tone is actually analog, hence the name, so we actually won't need too much power for that one. I also ran just some little clips down here to keep everything nice and tidy. So these are our 2 cables here that are going to power our Strymon pedals. If you tuck it under the Velcro has enough height to where it can support a little bit of organization like that. It'll also keep it nice and taut. Cool, and there we go. We're powered up and we can throw this cable back on. Now here I am over back at the King of Tone. We're going to power this. So in terms of putting this together, I'm running into a little bit of a difficulty with trying to get this cable to not run parallel with the patch cable. If you don't know, that sometimes will introduce noise into your signal. If you can help it, you want to try and have a perpendicular approach to your cables. Even if you are using nicely shielded cables, this is just a redundancy that will help avoid noise long term. So now we have our board put together and we're kind of getting to the final place where these pedal boards are going to be sitting without necessarily needing to lift them up anymore. So what we're going to do to give them just a gentle lock in, is we're just going to shake these. This will allow that hook and loop to really make a good connection. And now we can flip them over and be fairly confident that they're not going to fall off. I didn't secure these down yet because I want to make sure that these are good looking down here and they're also not going to be pulled out by a rogue cable or whatever that could be on the stage. So effectively what I did here is I just looped them around in the bottom there. I'm just going to get a couple of zip ties in here. Great. And now we're looking really nice here. Everything looks secure. We can go ahead and test this out, start to dial in some tones, and then we are good to go. So with that, we have a pedal board that's ready for this weekend's gig. Once again, I kind of stress we really only have 3 or 4 different tones here that we're working with. It's really all based around this Analog Man King of Tone, and then whether or not we want a boost, slapback, or long delay. But from effectively 3 pedals, that's substantial. Now, if you enjoyed this pedal board build, make sure you let me know down in the comments. I'm actually working on a pedal board course that's going to take you all through building a professional level pedal board with stuff that you might have at your house. It goes over soldered versus solderless and why solderless cables are actually maybe the better choice for your situation. It goes over how to be economical with the stuff that you already have. It goes over pedal board choices, cabling, tidying up, and also how to prepare the pedals before you build the pedal board to make sure that they're set up for success. Hopefully that'll come out before the summer. I'm really looking forward to it. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.